Hello, friends. This is Mark from the Human-Cetacean Alliance, and I am here with my friend Miriam again for very good reason, since Miriam is going to join forces with me to facilitate our next whale watching, dolphin swimming, Madeira retreat, where we will not only see them and swim in proximity to them, but also at a deeper spiritual level, connect with them and cooperate with them. So until now, I've been the sole facilitator of the Madeira retreat, and from now on, I'm not going to be a solo operation anymore in that regard, because Miriam will be co-facilitator with me. And I've discovered that she's had some really beautiful experiences with both dolphins and whales in the past, and that in combination with her other skills and qualities make her a really, really good candidate to be my partner, my associate for this adventure that is the Madeira spiritual retreat. And so I thought it would be well worth to do a little interview exercise with Miriam to ask her to tell us about these spiritual encounters and experiences she's had with cetaceans in the past. So
Yes.
I hand over the mic to you.
Yes, hello. I'm from northern Germany and I always wished to swim with dolphins and didn't know it was really easy. You could get there very easily. And so in 2013 I decided to go for a swim with dolphins in the wild, and I went to Key West. I joined a small group and we would go out to the ocean in a little boat in the shallow waters of Florida. Very nice, very beautiful, and we did meet a couple of bottlenose dolphins. There were many bottlenose dolphins resident in this area.
So they're pretty big, right?
They are pretty big, and it was amazing when I first met them in the wild. I didn't imagine they were that big, and they were noisy when they are breathing. It's like being with elephants. They are very curious. They would come close. They would show their babies because they were sort of friends with the skipper of this little boat. They knew him, and they would show up. They would come from far and show up with their babies and their pods. Yes, but after a few days I hurt my shoulder seriously and was unable to swim. Had to sit on the boat, and I was so sad. And
I would have been too.
yes, it was disappointing. And then I remembered I had some experience with animal communication, so I tried to call them in, together with another lady who was not able to swim by that time. She was a real animal communicator, and we would call them in together, and they would appear much more than before from all the directions. We needed to wait a little bit when after calling them, maybe half an hour or 45 minutes, and then they would be there. We would be surrounded by dolphin pods. Yes, it was really amazing. It was moving, and they were really making contact. They would address you, they would look at you, and it was a small boat. I was sitting in front, in the front area, and suddenly
How small?
it would only fit 7 people, I think. We were, or 8 with the skipper. We were eight persons, not more. A small catamaran, and I was sitting in the front, and my feet just above the water, and suddenly a bottlenose dolphin appeared in the distance, a couple of 100 meters. I could just spot him, and then it felt like he would just come into my direction, and I couldn't believe it. I asked him, you don't come for me, do you? And then he would lift his nose up from the ocean and really watch me, and they are playful, they're very funny, and he would come very close under my feet, look up, and swim from one side to the other for a couple of minutes, really joining me. And I was really deeply moved because that animal had appeared from far away, just to make contact. And it was very, very touching, although I couldn't touch it, and you're not supposed to do so, by the way. Even if they come very close, you should never touch them. Yes, and I realized the best way to meet with them is not having any expectations. In spite of all the marvelous stories I had read about of miraculous healings and improvements, and don't know what,
which happened,
they happened, but normally you would have to spend some hours with them in the ocean, which is possible in some areas of the world. You can do that. It doesn't happen if you just meet them for a couple of minutes. So I went there without expectations, and it was a mutual experience, a mutual conscious experience, and it was uplifting. It was really touching the heart to be in contact with beings who are not forced to meet you. They are free to roam the oceans wherever they wish to, and they come from far to your boat, and they swim with you. They are playful, and they emanate some kind of joy we humans don't experience anymore. I think we would if we would still live in the wild and were protected and were really well off. We also would display this kind of happiness and this easy way of living, which is not always easy for dolphins as well. There are sharks and boats and people going after them, but it was really moving. And then after that I went to different areas to swim with them or to be on a boat, and it was very different every time I went. Sometimes they would come very, very close. Once a mother dolphin appeared with her baby, and she came so close to me, I was afraid I might touch her, which I was told I wasn't supposed, but they decide how close they come.
You know, it's very interesting to me the amount of rules that are being that people come up with to regulate these encounters, because they're basically human rules.
Yes, but if you try to touch them, off they go. They disappear very fast, and you can't go after them. They are much faster than humans could swim. And so if you don't wish them to disappear, you should not try to touch them or should not try to go after them. Just wait. They come close or they won't. They are the ones to decide.
Yes.
Definitely, they are the ones to decide. They joined the boat. They would really make contact. They would love to be with babies. Whenever there were babies on the boat, they would appear very close to the babies or to little children, because they also display this kind of joy and happiness, which we enjoy from dolphins. And with the whales it was different. I met whales on the Canary Islands, especially on the island of, or at the coast of the island of La Gomera, which is exceedingly beautiful. And there was a skipper by that time, a German lady who owned a small boat which only fit 8 persons. She would be very conscious about the well-being of the dolphins. She would stop the motor once they appeared, and there were lots of pilot whales.
Yes.
Really lots of pilot whales. They are resident in this area because it's a protected area. It's not really a sanctuary, but it is a protected area where no fishing is allowed and no big boats and no military. After some disastrous events when whales would die from military experiments with sonar
Yeah.
in the ocean. Those pilot whales, they are very friendly beings. They also very curious. They would come very, very close to the boats. We were not allowed to swim with them. It has been prohibited there because it's a protected area. And there were boats going after them, chasing them with speedboats to make people have fun. And that's a torture for those beings. So pilot whales, which might also become as big as 6 to 7 meters, would appear. And when I went there
that's for the really big ones.
yes,
Normally
the
they're
males,
not that large.
Yes, the males might become that big. And when I went there for the first time, I also was sitting in the front part of the boat, my feet just above the water, and a pod of pilot whales would come over, and one very big one, the biggest one, he would come very close to my feet and go to the side and watch up. I could see this big whale's eye, and he was really under my feet. I feared I might touch him. And imagine that couldn't be beneficial for a cetacean to touch with human feet.
Why not?
Touch. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yes, he would decide, but he didn't. But he stayed there for a couple of minutes, and he would watch, was curious who would be on the boat, and I was deeply moved because he came out from nowhere. They can go very deep, and the ocean is very deep in this area. Yes, and I saw a couple of whales. There are many different kinds of whales, also the big ones. I didn't see the sperm whales, but you did. I think you saw sperm whales on Madeira. Yes, you spotted them. I didn't see them, although they are also resident in that area. But I saw a very huge fin whale. It was a mother with her little one, with her calf, and she would approach the boat. She would come very, very close and accompany us for about 45 minutes with her baby. And she would feed in the water. They sort of graze the plankton, these very small animals. And she wouldn't be timid at all. And after some time, the pilot whales and the dolphins would join her, and they would be very playful. It was in the evening sun. They would play together. It looks like having fun. It was almost like an ocean boiling with cetaceans. And then we needed to leave because there is a restricted time you are allowed to spend with the animals. So we were obliged to leave. We left after 45 minutes, and she also left. And this was really touching. And you could sense this, yes, I call it this aura of this huge animal. They can get up.
Yeah, you really feel it.
Yes, you do feel it. They can become as big as 17 meters. And this is really big if you are sitting there in a small boat, being a small human. Yes.
It's an experience when you are in the vicinity of a whale. You are definitely engulfed in their energy field in a way that is very palpable.
Yes, you sensed it. Everybody would be deeply moved.
And these moments where you have combinations of multiple species of cetaceans. So in this case, dolphins and pilot whales and whales, they're not exceedingly rare. You know, it's pretty common to see cruising whales who are being escorted by dolphins. I'd like to comment a little bit on what you said, that normally it takes hours in swimming with dolphins to get benefits like sudden unexpected improvements that some people would call miraculous. My experiences depends on the context. Depends on the context in that when you have a group of people who engage in a deliberate collective approach to be in touch deeply with the cetaceans and form a relationship and build a relationship with them, then the alchemy is much more potent. The alchemy is much more potent, and it doesn't necessarily take hours. It can be a much shorter time. It already works long distance at a subtle level, but with the physical presence element, doesn't necessarily take hours, because there is that preparation and that field of intention, that we form, that it's a big plus. Let's just put it like that.
Yes,
It's a
yes.
big plus.
They very frequently use their sonar and they can accomplish healing with this sonar, and you need to be exposed to a sonar for a certain time
Yeah.
to make it work
Yeah.
on your body. They're famous for that, and they also detected a pregnancy in the area of the Eilat Reef in Israel. It's reported that one of the trainers, one of the caretakers for the dolphins, would swim with one, and she was addressing her nose to her lower belly and with her sonar, and another one would come up, do the same, and by that time she didn't know she was pregnant, and she found out soon after that, but the dolphins had spotted the embryo in her lower belly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With the sonar.
Yeah,
Yes.
they can do that among one another, and they can do it with people as well. And there was a group that was famous to do human birthings in water with
in the Black Sea.
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
in
the
Russia.
group of Dr. Andrei Tchaikovsky. I don't know the exact period. I believe it was in the 70s, 80s, something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but it just had happened. You know, they were already doing birthings in the water, and then at sea. Well, not deep in the deep sea, but in the shallow part, the shallow part of the sea. And one day, just of a pod of dolphins just arrived and stayed with there for the birthing process. And then they came back again and again and again and again. So yeah, they are pretty
Yes.
conscious beings.
Yes, they are, and there are reports of people whose broken bones had been healed. One lady who was a researcher, and she would swim regularly with a pot of dolphin in the Caribbean. She broke one of her feet, and it would heal very fast, because one of the dolphins would come close with his sonar or her sonar and treat her foot a couple of times, not only one day. She would repeat it, and so it would heal very quickly. They can detect this with their marvelous sonar. There are also reports of John Lilly's assistant, when John Lilly performed his very rude research on dolphins in the 60s. He kept them in basins in the United States, and one of the caretakers who had to clean the basins, she lost the key of her locker, the small locker key in the basin, which was, I think, 10 meters deep. And the water was not transparent, it needed a cleanse, so it would appear muddy, she couldn't see anything. And she was very close to one of the dolphins. Oh, sorry. He would receive her in the water, she would take hold of his fin, just leave it there, it's not necessary. My spectacle. Thank you. So he would go down with her and really spot this tiny little key with his nose and direct her to the key and then come up. Yes, they have miraculous abilities, but you can also meet them on this other level of a spiritual meeting, conscious spiritual meeting with a group, and then you needn't go into the water, because for some people it's intimidating to be snorkeling in the water if you haven't done it before, if you are not experienced.
There is another very interesting fact about that, which is that one of the most commonly reported effects of being in the presence of, in this case, dolphins, is that people who've had water phobia, swimming phobia, instantly lose it.
Yes, yes.
Instantly.
Yes, yes, they would go into the waters,
Yeah.
and yes, and you lose this fear, and you just go, and you feel sort of accompanied if they are close. Yes, and you choose for a company who is really conscious about the well-being of the animals and
Yeah.
doesn't chase them, doesn't go after them,
Yeah.
and
So Madeira is a place of choice for several reasons, and one of the reasons is that you can actually be in the water, in the ocean, with dolphins, which many places forbid. In continental Europe it's forbidden everywhere, in the territorial waters of continental Europe. In Madeira it is allowed, in the waters of Madeira. And even though many companies on their website advertise swimming with dolphins, there are only two that in reality really allow you to do it. This is one of the two, and we chose them because it's the assessment of people who have tried a lot of these small companies, small boat tour companies on the islands, that they're the very best in their approach and service. And also they have chosen the town of Máxico as their home base, which is a very good sign, because they're almost all in Funchal, who's the capital of Madeira, and that is a fairly sizable city of 200,000 people. Whereas Máxico is a quite small town. So you get much less traffic at sea and much less pressure on cetaceans operating from Máxico. So that tells something about their spirit and their ethics. And I believe that's about what we wanted to say today. There is also the factor of the very specific energies of Madeira that are very interesting to work with. They're very powerful. It's the whole island is a really powerful energy center. So there is that's definitely part of the alchemy, and we definitely connect and cooperate with the spirit of the island. So that wraps it up for today. I believe we're going to stop this recording here. We wish you all the best. Have a great time. Be well, and we'll see you again soon, hopefully, for another video.
or on Madeira.
Or we'll meet you on the island of Madeira. Bye.